everybody, this is Tina with Loving Life's Little Blessings. Welcome to my video today, you guys, here on my YouTube channel or over on my website. I wanted to make some cards for you guys. I thought we would kick off the week with a set of cards that I made, or that I would like to make. And these are the products that I'm going to be using. I'm using quite a few different stamp sets, but just for the sentiments. So I'm going to use this one and this one. I was particularly looking for larger sentiments, and so these worked well. And then there's a sentiment out of here, you're in my thoughts. We're going to use you're the best, and I think there's one more. No, maybe that's it. Those are the four we're going to use. And then I'm going to use this paper stack. This is Pretty Petals, and I love this stack. I got a few of them on the last order that I placed, and I just love the designs. It's perfect for spring. I love the colors, and so I thought I would use that. So I already have a whole bunch of stuff prepared, you guys. I have 4 different cards, and they're basically going to be the same design, but we're going to do some envelope liners. We're going to do something similar to the in color cards that I created. And so I have some things prepped because there's quite a few different steps. And this is what I like to do if I'm creating more than one card. I just get everything prepped, and then I can very easily put everything together. So I have a Calypso Coral piece of cardstock, and I cut that at 5.5, and so this is going to be my card base. Then I have a couple other pieces here. I have one of the designer pieces. This is one of the poppy, it has the poppies on it and is real pretty. And then I have a piece of basic black. Now this basic black is cut at 5.25 by 4. And then the designer piece is cut at 5 by 3 3/4. So you can see that we're going to be able to layer this up really nice. So let's layer this on top of this so you can see it. But I'm not going to layer this black piece down yet. All right, so we have that piece. So then a few other pieces that I have a 2.5-inch circle. I have a 1 by 4-inch piece of Calypso Coral. I have another one of the designs that is in that stack, and this is 1.5 by 4.25, and then I have a little tiny butterfly. Okay, so we can just layer these. Now again, I'm not attaching this to the back yet because I want to use foam to do that. So, but I am going to use that piece as a guide. So I'm going to use my grid mat, and this is what I do. I just center this right here, stick it on my grid mat, and then I take this piece and we lay it over. I have adhesive right in the middle of this designer piece. I actually want this up a little bit higher. So it's just sticking to the middle piece. And then for my Calypso Coral strip, what I'm going to do is, I don't have my little snips handy. They're on the other side of my desk, but I just want this to be a flag. So then we'll do the same thing. We'll put a little bit of adhesive on here, and then we're going to attach this to the card. Just like that, okay? Now we can put the foam on here. Okay, so the next thing is I have my circle, and we're going to stamp first, and then we're going to do something else. So I want to grab my Calypso Coral ink, and I have Dream Big. We're going to ink that up, and we'll go ahead and stamp that right in the middle. Hopefully I get that the first try. It's not too bad. Okay, so let's close that, and then I have this. This is a piercing mat. So you can see there's all these holes all over, and what I like to do is I'm going to flip my sentiment over, and I'm going to line this up. It's kind of hard to line all the circles up. It's they're a little weird when you're looking at them. But if you line that up from the back, then you flip it over. You take your piercing tool and then you just pierce in you poke in the holes, and that's gonna pierce your circle. That doesn't take too long at all. And then you can see all the edge of that has the piercings. So we'll bring our card back over here. And I want to go ahead and put foam on the back of this. Then we have our butterfly, and we'll just take a dimensional. We'll stick a dimensional right on the back of the butterfly. Bend it up a little bit. Stick that right on the edge. And then I'm using something that I rarely use, which are these pearls. I just do not tend to use pearls as much. Just like that, and then you can see that. So let's do one more together, and then I'll show you the envelope liner. The next one we'll do is this one. So you can see that I can just slide everything over, and then I actually already prepped this by putting it down. So that's super easy, right? So now let's just do the strips. So this goes pretty fast if you just have a system where everything is prepped. Stamp this in Old Olive, and I'm going to use Enjoy the Little Things. And then we'll pierce it again. So we will grab our piercing mat. I flip the sentiment upside down, line that circle up, and then flip it back over and then pierce. So then let me grab my Big Shot and bring it over and my envelope liners, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to create liners for your envelopes for these cards. So I'm back and I have my envelope liners. These are amazing. You get 3 in the set, and so you can do 3 different size envelope liners. We are going to grab this large one. Now I've pulled out pattern paper that coordinates just from that designer stack. I just figured out what I thought would go nicely with these 2 cards. So for the Old Olive piece, I'm gonna go with this designer piece. And then for this Calypso Coral, I'm gonna go with this designer piece. So you can actually do 2 of these at a time. The designer paper is thin enough that you can do 2 at a time. So all you're gonna do is, I have my magnetic plate and then a clear plate. I'm going to lay that designer paper down, and then I'm gonna lay my framelit down. It's gonna stick to the magnetic plate, and it goes right about to the very bottom. So I line this piece up right with the very bottom, and then I know my top is going to get completely cut, and I'm not worried if the very bottom cuts off because it's going to be down in the envelope, and so I won't have to worry about that showing. So then we'll just run this through my Big Shot. And then I go ahead and I just run it back just to make sure everything's cut. I can feel that it cut pretty well, but just to make sure. So then you just pull these out. We'll set all this stuff aside. And then I have 2 envelopes here. Let's zoom in, and we'll just finish putting these together, and you can see how this will look. So we'll use these designs. We open up our envelopes, and then we slide the liner in, and I like to just put a little dab of adhesive right down here. It just holds that flap. Then I turn it over and find that crease, and I start to crease it, and then I take my bone folder and go ahead and crease that again. So we'll do the same thing with this envelope. We'll grab the liner, Slide that in, add a little bit of adhesive, flip it over, find the crease, pinch it, push it down, and then bone folder. So now these beautiful cards have a beautiful liner for your envelope. So I love how these came out. I also am going to have two others. I'll have photos for you guys. I'm going to do this design right here. You can see I already have everything laid out, and it'll have this liner. And then I'm going to do a mint macaroon with this design and then this liner. So I encourage you guys to head over to my website so you guys can see photos of all the cards with their envelope liner and how they turned out. And then I will be back tomorrow with Project Life by Stampin' Up! On Tuesday, and I have all new things planned this week. So I hope you enjoyed kicking this week off with these 4 cards. I love how beautiful they turned out. I'll have a supply list over on my website for you guys. So have a fantastic day, you guys, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday. I have 2 other videos here for you guys. I have a watercolor video that I did last week. I watercolored those little chicks, and I also used the same designer paper that I used today. So that video was fun, and you can check that out. I also have a Project Life video for you guys. I just created some very simple title cards, and you can check out how I did that. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will be back tomorrow with another video for you guys.